What's up guys, Mickle here, and the SEC might be in some serious trouble. We got two brand new developments earlier today that is really going to ramp up the pressure on the SEC and Gary Gensler. These are things we actually talked about in the past that are finally coming true. In this video, I want to break down what just happened because this is going to be big going forward. Towards the end of the video though, I want to transition into talking about a topic that, when I think I say it right now, a lot of you are going to say, oh, that's just hopium, that is never going to happen. But I want to show you in this video that it is more than possible, and that is Ripple one day being bigger than BlackRock. Guys, I want to show you some shocking new evidence that's really going to show you that not only is that entirely probable, it could happen a lot sooner than many of you think. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video to see that. I think what I'm going to show you is going to blow your mind. Like always guys, your support means so much to this channel. Make sure you take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It's really going to help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a good place to buy some XRP or the Flare token, make sure to check out my favorite exchange Uphold down in the description of this video. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So I want to start this video out with some exciting news coming out of Congress, because this is something we have been waiting on for a while now, and I honestly really do think this could be one of the main things that could force Gary Gensler out of the SEC. So it looks like Congress, specifically Bill Huizenga, has issued a subpoena requesting the FTX files. Now, if you're thinking, haven't House Republicans already asked like 10 times for these files? Yes, they have, but essentially the way they have to do things is first they have to ask Gary Gensler for them, see if he just willingly complies with their requests, and then if he doesn't, they can issue this subpoena, essentially forcing him to do it. Now, the reason this is so interesting is because Gary Gensler in his testimony actually said specifically that for him, congressional oversight and complying with Congress was really important, and he was going to do anything these guys asked of him. But now we have Gary Gensler flat out refusing to hand over files related to FTX. So this subpoena is essentially an important step in the right direction to finally getting Gary Gensler to hand over the files. Now, Gary Gensler can also refuse to comply with this subpoena, and if he does that, he is going to be forced to testify on this specific issue. He'll be put under oath and be asked questions directly about FTX. Now, he's going to have to make a choice here. One, he's going to have to hand over these files. Two, he's going to have to testify. Three, he's going to have to leave the SEC. Now, something I talked about a while ago on this channel is Gary Gensler used to work at the CFTC, and he was actually in a similar debacle that he is now, where essentially he gave some company a free pass, they ended up blowing up, and then all the different congressional oversight committees wanted Gary Gensler to come in and testify. Rather than coming in to testify, Gary Gensler left the CFTC. It's going to be interesting to see if he takes a similar route here. The good news is we won't have to wait long. His answers are due May 19th, which is next Friday. So let's see how it all plays out. I'm pretty excited to finally see House Republicans cracking down on him and forcing him to finally take some action. It seemed like forever they were giving him time to answer. He was never producing the documents, but this is an important step in the right direction. And honestly, I would be shocked if Gary Gensler makes it through his full term at the SEC. It's things like this where these House Republicans are essentially trying to force him out of his position. Let's see how it plays out. I said in my video yesterday, one of the most important things we are seeing is that we actually have House Democrats turning against Gary Gensler right now, turning against their own party's elected official, which is an awesome sign to at least show, hey, it's not just a partisan issue. It's not just politics being played right here. This is happening because he has been a horrible regulator, and that's really going to ramp up the pressure to a whole new level. So now I want to move on and talk about some more bad news for the SEC that came out earlier today, and that is that they are once again getting sued by another agency, and this agency is actually Empower. For those of you guys who don't remember, we were talking about Empower a while ago, maybe like 6 to 7 months ago, and essentially they are a private organization who essentially uses FOIA requests to try to get information from the SEC. Well, Empower tried to get information from the SEC regarding Bill Hinman, Jay Clayton, their emails, and a whole bunch of other people. Now, the list of people they are going after is actually pretty shocking. It's a whole bunch of the Ethereum maxis, Joe Lubin, a lot of people who work at A16Z, pretty much all the sketchy VC funders who are involved in Ethereum, all the different regulators like Bill Hinman and Jay Clayton, who are also involved there. Essentially, they're trying to get all the communications from all these people. Now, the SEC refused to hand over anything to Empower, so now Empower is taking them to court to get these documents. Now, this is pretty interesting because the SEC is supposed to have to hand over these documents. There's really no question about it. Because the SEC is a taxpayer-funded agency, they are required to hand over these documents in a FOIA request, but they are flat out refusing. And I don't think there's a lot of speculation here. John Deaton has already came out and said the reason they are not handing them over is because they are ashamed of what's in these documents. And I actually reached out to a former SEC official and asked him, hey, and this is someone who always takes the SEC's back. He is almost always pushing for the SEC. But I reached out to him and said, hey, can you understand why the public sees something like this and says, what is going on here? Why wouldn't you just comply unless there was something really bad here? And he said, yeah, I fully understand. He said, this is sketchy. They should be handing over these documents. And I think that says a lot. Even the SEC's biggest supporters are looking at something like this and saying, this cannot be good. And it might take a while to actually get these documents because we already know what the SEC does. They delay, they hide, they try to delete things. They are going to try to cheat themselves out of not handing over these documents. But the important thing is the pressure is ramping up on the SEC. There is only so much they can take. Their agency is shrinking. No one wants to work there anymore. And I actually heard from some people on the inside that there are a lot of staff members there who like cryptocurrency, who like blockchain, who want to do the right thing, and there's only a select amount of people there who are really pushing these political agendas. The SEC is running into a big problem right now where rather than being on offense like they're used to, they are now being put on defense, and a lot of the lawyers on the SEC right now don't even believe in the battles they are fighting. The SEC is in a really bad place, and the biggest issue for the SEC is these are battles that they really can't win. You have to hand over this information. It's very, very standard for a FOIA request to come in. The government has to answer. They are just stonewalling these agencies. They are not going to get away with this, and in a matter of time, these documents are going to get handed over. The SEC is fighting battles and putting themselves in fights they can't win, but they're going to be wasting a lot of time and resources on them. Ultimately, this is going to be really good because when you think about the SEC's future in crypto, they're not going to be able to spend as much time doing something like, I don't know, appealing the Ripple case or going after a new cryptocurrency. They're going to be focused on saying, okay, how can we do damage control? And it's agencies like Empower who are helping to make that happen. Now, I want to finish this video off and just show you real quick why I really do think one day in the near future, Ripple will be one of the biggest companies in the entire world and dwarf companies like BlackRock. Take a look at this, and when I first saw this, it blew my mind. I could not believe it. Tether's Q1 income was higher than the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's. Let that sink in. Tether, the who knows what cryptocurrency company, certainly one of the sketchiest, has a higher net income than BlackRock. We are at the early days of cryptocurrency right now. A lot of the companies right now, a lot of the projects aren't going to be around 10 years from now. But the ones that survive are going to be absolutely massive. Tether is sketchy at best, and because cryptocurrency is a new innovation, a new technology, it drives so much more efficiency, there is just so much more money to be made there. Look at the companies of the past versus the companies that are the biggest right now. The old biggest companies used to be like the Enrons, the gasoline companies, and now they're the Apples, the Googles, because tech was so much more efficient, it drove higher multiples, and because of that, it required higher market caps. We are going to see the same exact thing happen to Web3. We are going to see the companies that are being built right now that are actually legitimate, the ones that survive into the future, be the biggest companies in the world, and there's zero questions about it. If a company like Tether can make more money than BlackRock, Ripple could make 10x that. Ripple is a legitimate company. They're going to be solving real problems, and they're actually professional. They can actually do things in a way that is going to drive more success than the way Tether is doing them. And you don't even have to look far to realize this. I was just scrolling through Twitter today to just show you some examples of why Ripple is going to be the Amazon of today. Why Ripple is going to be the Apple or Google of today. You don't even have to look hard. Take a look at this document. We literally see Ripple is already being integrated into Amazon's payment flows in test payments. Now, there's one reason why they are testing these things, because Amazon wants to use Ripple. They don't want to pay high fees from bank to bank. They want to move money seamlessly. They're going to pick the best way to do that. If the best way to do that is using Ripple's technology, they're going to use it. I say this all the time on this channel. Amazon is not a payments company. Google is not a payments company. Uber is not a payments company. They don't want to deal with payments. They are going to plug into the best solution, and that is Ripple. And take a look at this, just another shocking development. Right here we have the BIS, the central bank of central banks, the biggest in the world, and guess who they are working with? They are working with Ripple's CBDC team. Ripple is the blue chip cryptocurrency company. They're the company that's going to transform our entire financial system, and it's not that hard to see it. What we see is right now, even the sketchiest crypto companies are driving massive profits. They are exploding in value. Just wait until we get to the legitimate stage of crypto. Just wait until we actually have the adults in the room dominating this industry. Ripple is going to become a size that most people are going to say today would be impossible. It doesn't make sense. They can't get that big. Guys, just wait. Ripple essentially has access to 50 billion XRP. What happens when that XRP hits 10, 20, $15? They dwarf every other company in the US. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does mean so much. And for now, Mickle out.